Hey YouTube, it is Thursday. I'm over here at my storage with the Grand Am. And so I went and I bought a set of wheels off of Facebook. They need cleaned up, but they're pretty decent. They got some rash. But he said these are actually caps that come off, these chrome lips. And they were on a Mustang. And two of them he had on the rear were wider than the other two. But I've already got the other three on the car. They look pretty good. I like them. So the other side looks really good. I mean, they definitely need repainted. They definitely need some work. But let me see. Yeah, it's definitely got some paint missing on like three of them, I believe. One of them's okay. But I don't know. I like them. But they just are barely clearing the strut. Barely clearing the strut. But I had these tires on this car before, so I know they'll fit. There's just different 20-inch wheels. And these front ones are a little bit wider, and they have no problem clearing. So, and this other one, whenever I had them take this tire off of the other 20s that are on the red Grand Prix, I had them put it on this wheel, and they cut into the bead, like into the sidewall right there. So it's got a leak from it. And this tire didn't have anything wrong with it. And so I'm guessing that's why whenever I had to mount it onto that wheel, it still went flat the next day. Even though they put bead seal all around both sides and put a new valve stem in it, it still went flat the next day. So I thought the tire was still good, but it's junk. So I'm going to have to get another tire, because these are 245/35s and they won't fit. I already tested them before I went and had the tires swapped around earlier. But I did get this tire and that tire are 245/35s, and they're still really good tread. So I'm going to end up saving these as spares for the red Grand Prix. But I've got a nice set of wheels for the Grand Am now. So I still got the engine ready for the heads. I've still got to get the engine pulled out of the red Grand Prix and get those heads off and pull the valve springs and retainers and locks and stuff off and put those factory L32 ends back on there so I can get those heads on here and start making some more progress on this build. So I'm still looking for the transmission. I still got to pull all the 5-speed stuff and the subframe and all that off of the other car. So I'm going to end up getting that done here sometime. But sometime this weekend I'm going to try to get the engine pulled out of the red Grand Prix over there, so I can get those heads off and start making some progress on that, because I need to get that done before I can finish off this engine and before I can make any progress, because I still need to pull that cam and the injectors and all the other upgraded stuff off that, because those injectors that are on that car and those headers are also going on this with that catless downpipe and stuff. So that's where I'm at right now. So hopefully sometime this weekend I can get some progress done on that, so I can make some more progress on this. But I just wanted to show you guys the new wheels and tires. Well, new wheels anyways. But got the Grand Am looking good again. I'm happy with it. I still got to drop it off jack stands, but I got to move all this stuff out of the way before I can drop it off of jack stands. The rear's off on this side. This side I've got a supercharged cylinder head as a jack stand, because it's bad. So that's the one I got from dude in Michigan. He grenaded a piston just like I did in the black Grand Prix. That's one of those oil pans right there was his, and it's got all the chunks in the bottom. Then the other one of mine is over there in the other storage with the red Prix. So I'm making some progress. Just want to give you guys an update. So, hope you guys like the new wheels and tires. But that's gonna be it for today. So, like, comment, subscribe. Thanks for watching. Hey YouTube. So it's Friday, and the insurance ended up giving me $1,400 for the accident, and told me I could keep the car. So I just popped the trunk, pulled the carpet back,
Climbed in,
and got in here like this, and gave it 4 or 5 kicks, and man, brought it right back out to where it needed to be. I mean, it's still a little dense, but it looks way better than it did beforehand. Cannot complain. So, not too bad, I guess. $1,400 and fixed in 2 seconds.
5 kicks later.
Hey YouTube. So it is Saturday. I'm over here at my storage. Been working on the Prix a little bit. And I'm going to pull these wheels back off so I can get to that one bolt that's back there for the bell housing. I still got to undo all the exhaust right here where this downpipe meets up to the resonator. Got to get all this disconnected, get that downpipe and shit off from back here from the rear header. So that way I can pull the rear header off. Probably going to end up having to pull the blower off and the fuel rail to be able to get down there to it. I know I'm going to have to pull these engine mounts so I can ratchet it forward. I got my ratchet strapline right there. But overall, it's about to start getting there. So I haven't done a whole lot today. It was super hot. I had to go work this morning. Worked with my boss doing some potholes, filling in potholes in parking lots. Did it for about 3 or 4 hours this morning. And then I had to go home and take a nap because I was just super tired. And man, dude, that heat just takes it out of me. Then I come over here and it was just so hot in here. Even with that little fan right there, it wasn't enough. So I had to go home and take a nap, get some sleep in the AC for a little while. And I just got back over here about 30 minutes ago. Got everything pulled out. Got the power hooked up. Got batteries on the charger. And yeah, so I'm about to start getting this thing all torn apart. Just want to give you guys a little update. This thing is pretty much all completely apart. It's ready to go to junk. Humongo hole. So yeah, it's about to go to the scrap yard along with all that shit. And I'm about to start getting all this stuff disconnected and pulled out of here. So I need to get me a little shelf I can stick back here. I need to clean a lot of this stuff out. I need to get this engine block and go drop it off at the machine shop so I can have them go through it and do all that. But I think this is going to be a good starting point since it was the original block from the car. So hopefully I shouldn't have any more issues. So that one just chipped a piston and that was it. It still ran and drove great. It just overheated. So I'm gonna get some more stuff ordered for that engine, get it dropped off at the machine shop, and that way by the time I get this all pulled out and get the valve springs and everything out of this and take these heads for the other engine and get that together, hopefully a week or so I should have the other engine back, and then I can start reassembling this engine with everything that's inside this engine cam and all that stuff with the heads that I have at the house I redid. So it's a getting there. I'm excited. So I guess I'm gonna get back to working on this thing and start tearing this thing apart, and I'll keep you guys updated as I go. So guys, this can be the last startup of this engine before it gets pulled. I pulled the supercharger belt off, so it's just gonna be the main accessory belt, no supercharger. I want to see if it's still got the knocking sound with the supercharger belt off. Hopefully my phone don't fall over. No, it's still got the knob. So yeah, it's gonna be a rod bearing, or there's got to be a bearing in there. It's got to be a rod. So either way, it's coming apart. We got the motor mounts off, and we got the crossbar off here. I got them sitting on the trunk right now. I got the supercharger belt off. I'm about to pull the fuel rail and this coil pack bracket off. I just wanted to do a last star before I pull this battery out and get all this shit out of here. So I'm making a little bit of progress. It's about 9:30 or so right now. I got till 11 till I have to be gone, so probably just gonna pick all my stuff up, and I'll catch you guys back over here tomorrow. Yeah, I'm making some good progress. So I've got the bracket off. Got a lot of the harness on the front undone. I've got the fuel rail all unbolted. I just got to take off the line right there, and then I can unplug the 3 rear fuel injectors, and then the fuel rail and the injectors can come off, and then I can unbolt the blower, and it's ready to come off. I got the air box out. It's over here. So I'm making some progress. Hey YouTube. Okay, so I've got the supercharger, I've got the blower and the fuel rail and all that off. I've still got to finish disconnecting the harness down on the back side and from the alternator and from everything down here on the front. I'm going to end up having to pull this belt off so I can take the alternator and this whole bracket off and be able to pull off that rear head. But I'm making some progress, so I'm about to get this little vacuum line off. Just got to be very careful not to break it, because this was like $30 something for this whole piece. Yeah, there's my blower. I've got the fuel rail up here with the injectors right there, and then these are the mounts I got from the salvage yard for the Grand Dam. I'm gonna try to put some dog bones on it. This is the bracket that was on here with the coils that were on the black Grand Prix whenever I blew up the engine. Before I blew up the engine. And yeah, so I'm gonna end up I'm gonna have to replace these O-rings because that one's trash. But yeah, these are my ZZP 42.5 pound injectors. I believe they're Lucas injectors. These are a brand new set of plug wires that I bought whenever I did the new spark plugs, like the 3rd time. So those are still good and brand new. I got another brand new set of Iridium XP 104s. So I've got those in the new heads. I'm going to have these new wires. I'm going to run these coils for now. This is the bracket. I'm going to clean it up some. I'm going to paint these. I'm going to end up taking these injectors off this rail and put them onto that Gen 2 rail, or Gen 3 rail, the Series 2 L67 return line rail, because it's going in the Grand Dam with the return. So yeah, it's getting there. I'm making some progress on this thing. The supercharger gasket still look good, so I just cleaned it up. So my next thing is I'm gonna get my 3/8 out and start busting all these bolts here free. And yeah, it's the next thing to come off. So it's going to be kind of a pain in the ass because I'm going to have to undo the EGR. I'm gonna have to take off the thermostat housing. I'm gonna have to take off the alternator bracket so I can get the coolant elbow out, so that way I don't break off the coolant elbow in the intake or crack the intake or something trying to pull it apart. So I still got a little ways to go, but I'm making some good progress. So I've got the blower off, and my mom needs me to come home and go help her and go grocery shopping and go get some stuff for her. So I'm going to pick up all my stuff, and I'm going to come back over here tomorrow and keep working on this tomorrow after I get off work. So for now, I'm going to take this white t-shirt. Just going to stuff this up here. Just let it here, actually. Better yet. I'm just going to cover the whole thing so nothing falls in the injector holes, even though, I mean, this engine is completely coming apart anyways, but so I don't want nothing to get fucked up, because I do need to reuse these heads, and I do need to still reuse a lot of these parts that are in this engine. But yeah, these headers are coming off. They're going on the grain dam. A lot of this stuff is going to end up going on the grain dam, because I've got all new everything for the new engine. So I'm pretty sure my other heads already have this bracket, so this bracket can go to the grain dam for that dog bone on these heads. And then I have another set of valve covers, so I'm not for sure if I only use these that I spray painted black, because they're already chipping and they don't look the greatest. But I have another set that are gray that I haven't painted yet, so I'm going to clean those up, see how they look, and yeah, I'll decide if I want to run the gray ones or the black ones. If I run the black, I might just paint the other ones after I get them all cleaned up and degreased. Try to make them look better than these did whenever I painted these. And yeah, so I'll be back over here tomorrow, and tomorrow I'm going to try to get all these headers and the downpipe and all that disconnected and off here, and get all this off of here, so that way I can get these heads off and really start making some major progress on tearing this thing apart and getting it out of here, because I really miss driving this car, and I've got a whole back seat full of parts, as you can tell. Just whole back seat full of parts. And then the downpipe, that's the stuff I've been pulling off. The whole trunk's full of stuff. There's the new front bumper. I mean, dude, I got just parts galore for this thing. Stuff on top of the car, new transmission filter and pan gasket, 4T65E Transgo shift kit, for my transmission fittings for the AN lines. Here's my lower intake manifold gaskets, Velcro gaskets. There's front seal, rear seal, tummy cover gaskets, Cometic head gaskets, cheap $20 set of head gaskets. Yeah, I still gotta pull that computer back off and send it back out to Daniel Smuts so I can have him retune it for E85 and for the 80-pound injectors that's going in. Yeah, I mean, there's just so much stuff that I've got to get done and still got to get taken care of. So, I mean, it's coming along little by little. I'm making some progress. So, hopefully tomorrow I'll have these heads all torn off and all the exhaust off. But I got to start picking up so I can go help my mom, and I'll catch you guys tomorrow. So, y'all have a good night, and I'll keep you updated tomorrow. Hey YouTube. Alright, it is Friday. It's after work. Been over here for like 30 minutes or so, and I've got the lower intake manifold, I got the belt off, got the alternator and the alternator bracket off, got the coolant all drained out, I've got the 180 thermostat sitting over here on the tailgate with the blower and the lower intake manifold. I got the front valve cover off. I'm still got to get the rear valve cover off and get the rockers out. But yeah, I mean, you can see these are definitely aftermarket retainers and valve locks. And dude I got them from, got all the parts from, said that they're 140 or 150 pound valve spring. I think he said 140 pound valve springs. But he said this was everything he needed to run the XPZ cam. He said the heads are not ported, they're just factory L67 Gen 2 or Gen 3 supercharged heads. And that's it. So these are what's going to end up going on the Grand Dam engine. So I've got to get all these push rods out, but I want to keep them in the same order, so that way whenever I go to put everything back in the other engine, then they're all still in the same order. And I'm going to reuse the rockers that I had in here, so that way they're still on the same wear pattern as all the push rods. So I'm going to get all these pulled out of here and try to figure out a way I can mark all these. So but yeah, this is where I'm at right now. So I'm making some progress. So I still gotta get the downpipe all disconnected and get the headers off. I gotta take the crossover pipe off first. But I mean, it's getting there. So next thing after I get that rear valve cover and those rockers off, I'm probably gonna release a ratchet strap, let it ratchet back. And I'm going to pull this front header off, so that way I can get the crossover pipe off, and then I get down there and disconnect the rear header and get that off, and should be pretty close. So hopefully all this goes pretty good and I can get this out of here. So you guys stay tuned and I'll keep you updated. Alright you guys, so I've got both valve covers off, I've got the rockers all off, got everything sitting over here on the tailgate still. I got all the push rods out, I kept everything in order of how it came off the engine. So I was debating on if I wanted to pull the lifters out, but just trying to keep everything organized and in the same position without having tables and benches and everything. It's kind of a pain in the ass and it's pretty difficult. So for now, I'm just going to leave the lifters in the engine and just keep this covered up. And I am going to start working on these headers and getting these headers all disconnected and off here. So I'm going to release this, let this spring back. I'm sure I can just go ahead and do that. There we go. Now that's back, so now I can get to these bolts here a little bit easier. Got to take off the oil dipstick, and I got to pull off this lift bracket because it's in the way on both. So I'm going to get those off and then get this back together, and I'll keep you guys updated, so stay tuned. Hey YouTube, so it is Sunday and I'm back over here at my storage. I'm going to get some more work done on this thing. Got to get this rear head off, but before I can do that, I got to disconnect the V-band at the downpipe down there and then get this rear header off. And then once those are done, then I can get the head off, and then I'll pretty much be ready to pull the engine out. So I'm probably going to pull the engine and the transmission together just to make it easier for me. And I mean, I've got to drain the pan anyways. I'm doing a whole new filter and doing the Transgo shift kit and all that. And I'm also adding the transmission cooler with the 10AN fittings. It's going to be huge, but it is what it is. So I'm going to get some more progress made on this thing today. So stay tuned and I'll keep you guys updated as I go. Hey guys, so I got this. This is the old front head. I got the aftermarket upgraded valve springs and retainers and locks off of this head, and they're in that little bowl over there. Those are the Series 3 heads sitting over there, and I've already got all the valve seals swapped out like I showed previously, and I've just got to put the upgraded valve springs and retainers and locks and everything onto these heads. And yeah, so I'm still working. I've got to get that rear head off I was trying to disconnect the downpipe underneath, and the bolts are like rusted on now. So that was fighting me. And so that's pretty much where I'm at the moment. But I just want to give you guys a quick little update. I got this head all cleaned up and masked off and repainted. And so now this head's ready to go over to the Grand Dam and get bolted down onto that engine. So making some progress. Not huge, but I'm making some progress. So I'm going to keep working on getting this rear header off and try to get it out somehow. But I'm going to get this exhaust all disconnected and get this rear head off, and hopefully I'm going to get this engine and transmission pulled today. So I'll keep you guys updated. Alright YouTube, so I've got the V-band disconnected, got the downpipe disconnected from the rear header, the bolts that are going into the resonator right here on this 2-bolt flange, both of them they're just fucking rusted on there, so I'm gonna have to get some penetrating oil on that, try to get those busted free. But they were just fighting me. They were being a pain in the ass. Maybe I can get the impact on there and get them, I'm not for sure. But for now, I've got the V-band disconnected, so I can at least get the rear header disconnected. And then I came back up here and I put the ratchet strap through the bell housing bolt and got it on the firewall. Got it ratcheted forward some. I've got the EGR valve off. And so now it's just going to be getting these 2 brackets here and getting that rear header off. And then I can get to the head bolts and get that rear head off. And it'll be a lot more progress. That'll be very, very close to where I want to be. So the next thing after that is just disconnecting these trans lines and all this other radiator hose over here, the engine mount and transmission mount, the shifter cable, and man, that's just about it. Maybe that O2 sensor cable that runs down under the car. And I need to take off this ground here and the big positive wire on the starter that goes over here to the battery, because I'm going to leave those battery cables in there for now when I pull the engine and trans. So I've got a couple things I have to disconnect, but overall, I mean, it should come out pretty quick and easy. I've just got to get that rear header off first. So I'm going to get that rear header off and get this rear head off, and then I'll start getting this engine and trans hooked up so I can get it pulled out. So I'm going to keep working at this, and I'll keep you guys updated as I go. You guys, so I've got the rear header disconnected. I've got the O2 unplugged right there. So now I've just got to get these 4 head bolts here and these 4 in the head. These are a 9/16. So I'm about to grab this socket and extension and this ratchet and get these off of here, and I can get this rear head off, and I can pull that rear header out, and then I'm ready to pull the engine. So let me get this head off and I'll update you guys here in just a few. Alright y'all, I got the rear head off, got the rear header out. The head's sitting here and the header's there. So I'm making progress. Cylinders still look pretty good, pistons look good. So I guess we'll see what this knock is. It's got to be a rod bearing. So I don't know, maybe I can rebuild this one and throw some rod bearings in it and maybe get away with this as a spare. And I did delete this balance shaft, but I have a good one right here. So the engine that goes back in here, it's not going to have a balance shaft. I mean, it might have one in there, but the gear is going to be off of it. But I definitely want to do something with this next one to plug this oil hole. because I definitely did not do that, and you never know. I mean, that could be the reason why it spun a bearing. I mean, if it was just all of this pressure was coming out here and here. Look at that double roller, looks good. But yeah, so I'm gonna keep working on this thing. I've got to get this rear bell housing bolt out. Well, I guess I don't even have to do that. I'll probably have to pull that trans dipstick. But pretty much it's just gonna be, I need to get a head bolt up here and a head bolt back here, hook the chain up, get pressure on it, and then undo my engine mount and trans mount and the shifter cable and a couple more wires. And I mean, it's pretty much ready to come out. So should have this out here in the next hour, and I can get the trans separated from the engine and get the engine on the stand over here, because I definitely want to tear this thing apart and see what's going on with it. But I mean, it made good power this whole time, so I'm really happy with the engine. I mean, it did good for a budget build. So, but yeah, I've got both the heads off, got the rear, like all the headers off. I still got to get that catless downpipe disconnected from the resonator flange, but other than that, all the headers and catless downpipe is off. So I've made some good progress today. I'm happy with everything so far. Just, I mean, in a couple hours. So next thing, I got to get this out, get it on the stand, get that timing cover off, and get that cam out, and get them lifters out. It's my LS7 lifters and that XPZ cam. Cam lobe still looks pretty good. I'm happy with it. So, I'm ready to get this thing out of here and get it all torn apart. So I'm going to keep working on this and get these engine mount and trans mount undone, get those trans cooler lines out, get that bottom O2 plug down there unplugged so I can pull the whole harness out with the engine and trans, and get the shifter cable disconnected, and that's it pretty much. So it's just about there. I'll keep you guys updated as I go. Hey YouTube. Alright, so I've got the heads off of the Grand Prix and got them cleaned up. Got all the valve springs and retainers and locks swapped around back to the factory L32 valve springs, and cleaned up the heads, got them painted, well, repainted, just freshened to make them look nice and fresh again. And I've got them on there. They're just, the bolts are just, or head bolts are just in. They're not torqued down or anything. This is, the supercharger is bolted down to the lower intake manifold, but the intake manifold is not bolted down. So I still got to put in the push rods. I mean, I still got a lot more stuff to do. I just want to get a little general idea of what I'm working with here. And see, I painted this timing cover silver, and I really like the bare aluminum color. It's not as bright. I have this one. I also painted the same silver, which is the one that was on the 07. I still don't know which one I want to use, but I'm thinking I'm going to use this lower intake manifold for the 07. This is the original one off the 07. This is the original blower off the 07. But yeah, I'm gonna reuse that blower that I have that was already on there, the red one with the silver bare snout, and I'm gonna go with the 2.9 pulley on that. So I'm gonna take that 3.4 pulley. It's gonna go with this hub onto this supercharger, and I'm using this supercharger because this one, my dumbass cleaned up the rotors, and I guess I cleaned off the coating And I mean, it does work. It builds boost, but it does get hot. This is the one I had on the black Grand Prix. And so I just decided this one I got from the guy in Michigan. This one I'm going to use. So I just painted it up prior, like a couple months ago, right after I got it. I painted it. But yeah, this is what I'm going to end up using. I got my K&N cold air intake right there with the LQ4 MAF. And got the North Star throttle body. So now I just got to get some 5-speed swap parts off the parts car and start actually swapping stuff around. I need to get this automatic transmission the fuck out of here and start making some more progress. But made a good deal of progress today on the engine. I got most of the stuff I needed off of the Prix. So now the engine's about 90%, 85-90% complete. So I've still got to order a few more things and get some more stuff for it, but it's getting there. So it's the Grand Am update for today and the Grand Prix update. These are the 42.5 pound Lucas injectors from ZZP that I was running in the 07. You can see a couple of these O-rings are just, God, look at that, just shot. So it's definitely going to need new O-rings on all these. But these are what I'm using on the Grand Am. So it's getting there. It's coming along pretty good now. So I got to go get my other tire from my buddy and have it put back on this wheel. So that way they'll all be aired up. But all the other three are still holding air and they look good. I just got to fix this little bit of paint chipping. But overall, I like them. Can't wait to pull this thing out and wash it and see it in the daylight, in the sun, with these wheels, with this engine sitting in here. But man, it's getting there. And there's the headers. Still got to get the catless downpipe off. I have another one over there in the bag, the other set of headers. But I'm happy with the progress so far this weekend. So tomorrow is Monday. It's like Labor Day or Memorial Day. I think it's Labor Day. So I'm off work tomorrow. So I might be back over here tomorrow doing some more stuff between the Prix and the Grand Am. But this is where I'm leaving it for today. So I'm going to pick the rest of this little bit of stuff up. I need to go ship this out to JPL Performance on YouTube. He's helped me out a couple times. I've helped him out a couple times. So he needs that bracket so he can get it powder coated. So I'm going to get that in the mail to him. I just got to get a box still. But thanks for watching, you guys. I'll keep you updated. Hey, YouTube. So it's Wednesday. And finally made it back over here. So I was over here yesterday and just did a little bit of stuff over on the Grand Am's engine. So I left off on Saturday or Sunday. I think it was Sunday. I got the heads off here and the rear header and everything. I still got to get that downpipe off, and I've still got to get I need to get this block out. So I've got to get this AC compressor off. I've got to get the rear or the lower engine mount, I'm leaving the trans mount. I'm probably just going to go ahead and pull just the engine for now, and then worry about pulling the transmission afterward. Since I got this ABS module and everything, I don't want to have to disconnect all that right now. So probably just going to pull the starter, disconnect all the flywheel torque converter bolts, and get all this engine mount disconnected and all these bell housing bolts disconnected. Power steering pump can come off so I don't have to undo the lines, and then unplug a couple more plugs from the trans over here and from the rack and pinion, and then this thing will pretty much be ready to come out. So I'm gonna go ahead and get to work and start getting this stuff off and get all that disconnected so I can get this engine out and get it on the stand over here. And I was digging through some stuff and found this transmission dipstick tube with the seal and 2 different dipsticks, and Tristan's needed one for his build on YouTube, so I told him if he needed it I'd hook him up with it if he just paid the shipping. So I went through my stuff, I found it, and I'm just waiting for him to let me know if he needs it or not, and if he does, I'll get it shipped out to him. So that's for Tristan. Right now, today, my focus is going to be on getting this engine out of here and on the stand, so I can start tearing the rest of this thing down, because I'm really anxious to see what this knock is, if it's just a rod bearing or what. So I'm going to get to work and start getting this thing out of here, and I'll keep you guys updated as I go. Alright you guys, so I've got the engine hooked up on the hoist, on the cherry picker. I've got the engine mount nuts off, they're both right there. I've got all the bell housing bolts out except for the back one back here. I still got to get the mount, the bracket that bolts the engine and transmission together right here off. Just like 3 bolts on that. And that rear bell housing bolt, I've got all the flywheel torque converter bolts out right here. There's all the rest of the bell housing bolts. I've got every wire unplugged except for the crank sensor and the cam sensor on this, so I just toss this over the engine. I've got the power steering pump disconnected. I got the AC lines disconnected. I mean, pretty much everything's disconnected except for this rear bell housing bolt and this bracket that bolts the engine and the transmission. So I'm going to get this bracket off and get that last bell housing bolt out, and then this thing should be free and ready to pull up out of here. So I'm going to get this last bracket off right here, and I'll be ready to pull this out. So I'll keep you guys updated. Alright you guys, I got the engine out. It is over there on the stand. So, major progress today. So, I am going to end up pulling the trans also. I was having some issues and putting the shift kit in. I'm just going to take a look at it, see how the guts are on it, and I have the original trans that came in the car also. So, I just kind of see whichever one's better. This one was still running and shifting fine. So, I might just throw the shift kit in this one, get it all cleaned up, repaint it again, and get it put back in here whenever I get this new engine all together. I am going to have to drop the subframe so I can replace that steering rack. So, but major progress for today. All this grease and grime, yeah, it's just nasty. Yeah, all this is gonna get nice and cleaned up. Look at all that. So yeah, this is all gonna get cleaned up while I have this engine and trans out. Still gotta get that downpipe off. It's just like rusted on under there. But overall, I'm really happy with the progress today. So there she is. Lots of just oil pan gasket leaking, which is crazy because that was a new gasket. I was thinking the rear main seal, but the rear main actually, I mean, I might have been leaking a little bit, but I don't know. It looks pretty dry back here. I mean, there's a little wetness, but not much. I think most of it was the oil pan gasket. But all the cylinder walls look pretty good. I guess it's kind of hard to see in the daylight, but I mean, no chip pistons. Overall, they all look good. The only thing I really seen was the oil had a lot of gas mixed in with it. So probably running rich. Gas mixed with the oil, spun a bearing. So, cross my fingers, that's what it is. I mean, I looked at the oil, I didn't really see a whole bunch of metal shavings or anything. There wasn't anything on the drain plug. So, I don't know. I guess we'll see. Maybe this block's savable. And maybe I can rebuild this whole engine again. So, I don't know. But for now, my main focus is going to be getting the block that's in the bed of the truck dropped off at the machine shop, so I can get that done. I need to pull this cam and these lifters and all the stuff I'm going to end up reusing off of this engine for the new engine. And yeah, that's pretty much it. So I'll keep you guys updated as I go, and that's going to be my update video. I've got the engine out, so now I'm pretty much just going to be focused on the Grand Am and trying to get that engine 100% completely bolted together, ready to go. And then as soon as I can find the 5-speed trans, I can get that flex plate or that flywheel slapped on there, torqued down, get the clutch kit on there, get the trans on there, and then it's just setting it in and getting the mounts on, and it's just hooking stuff up. So I'm really excited about that one. I mean, I'm excited about this one too, because it's going to be 5 times better than what it was before with all the new stuff. But there she is. Her heart is ripped out and is on a stand. So, and it's the second time this car's had the engine out. And I've only owned it for a year. So, maybe a year and a half. But, yeah, that's the update for today, you guys. So, alright, YouTube. So, I've got the timing cover off, the engine mount off. Showing my double roller. So, I'm spinning this around. Everything looks good. But then, out of nowhere, it'll just lock up. See? Locked up. When I go backwards, it'll go. Oh, now it's not locking up. That's weird. It was locking up, going both ways. That's cool. I'm about to get this out of here. That's nice. Engine is out, so I'll keep you guys updated. Alright, y'all. So I've got most of the double roller off. I'm trying to get this gear off. It's kind of stuck. And I pulled the lifters, all except for this one here was stuck. And the bottom of it, after I pulled the cam out, yeah, it was, the whole bottom of it was completely broke off. When I pulled the cam, it just fell into the pan. And then I couldn't get the top side of the lifter out. So after I pulled the cam out, carefully, I just tapped it with a hammer and it fell down in the pan too. So, let's see. Yeah, that lifter guide is pretty chewed up. Can't really see the cam bearings, but inside looks a little dirty. That was the only one that stuck. Was this one here, the back side. So that sucks. It chewed up the cam a little bit on the lobe. Come on, phone, focus. There it is. Yeah, chewed it up a little bit. I don't know, maybe I can have it polished. Maybe it'll still be usable. I'm gonna have to get a brand new set of LS7 lifters though. So I'm gonna have the cam checked out. Hopefully it's still usable, because it's like $350-400 for a new one. I'm really not trying to spend that. But if I have to, I have to. So that's where I'm at right now. Cam is out. Most of the timing set's off. So now it's just going to be getting the rest of this gear off for the double roller. I think it's just kind of wedged on the crank key there. But it's coming apart. So next is the oil pan. And I can take a look at these rods and everything. But yeah, I'm pretty sure it was a stuck lifter that was giving me the knock. So hopefully all the rod bearings are fine. I can still rebuild this. Probably not for boost. I'll probably build it as an NA, but I could definitely still rebuild it. So yeah, I'm gonna keep going, tear this down. I gotta get this gear off for the double roller. Well, the bill for this thing just got a lot more expensive, so I'll keep you guys updated as I go. Let you know what else I find. So, yep, y'all stay tuned. Alright, you guys, so I've got the timing set all out, got the oil pump gear and everything off, got the cam out. The cam is a little chewed up. It happens. I've got the rest of the lifter out. It's everything I found down in the oil pan. So, yeah, there's my knock. It was a lifter, not a rod. So, whoever guessed lifter, congratulations. You guys won a free lifter if you want it. So, well, not the best news, but at least I know that it's a good block. So, at least it's rebuildable. All the pistons and everything are good. The whole rotating assembly, so I'm happy about that. So I don't know, I might just throw an NA cam and stuff back on this engine, or I might use those other supercharge heads and supercharger I posted for sale, and I might just build this engine with those, with an NA cam or something. Not really for sure yet, but I don't know, I'm just kind of upset. Yeah, I'm just a little upset. But yeah, that lifter valley looks kind of chewed up. I just don't know. Everything else looks alright. I mean, it's dirty, but it spins over freely. Everything else looks decent. All the cylinders look nice. So I know I might just clean up all the pistons, clean everything, spray all this out with brake cleaner, just get all this gunk out. And I'll probably just rebuild this block for just as a spare engine. So yeah, that's probably where I'm at with this for today. So I'm just going to pick up all my mess, get everything picked up, and cleaned up, get all my tools organized and situated, and yeah, I'm gonna get this all put up. So I'll be back over here tomorrow after work and probably do some more. So I'm gonna have to clean up a lot of this stuff. Timing cover over there, the block, the inside of the block. I need to clean up the starter and that dust shields for the starter and the trans. I need to clean up that new water pump I had on there, just so I can get some stuff painted, because you know me, I paint everything. So, and if I'm gonna do this, I'll use those red heads and red supercharger. This one's gonna be black and red, just like the engine that, like when it was just in the Grand Prix. So, and I've got some factory lifters, and I'm pretty sure I have another factory cam somewhere. So I'm gonna get some stuff and throw this back together with some NA bottom end, like what this was originally. And yeah, I guess we'll see how this one holds up if one of these other ones blows up. I'm not gonna put a lot of money into this. I already have some head gaskets and timing gasket and water pump gasket. I have a few gaskets already laying around, and I still have the original lower intake manifold gaskets that go here and that go on the heads on that lower intake manifold. So so they weren't on that engine very long at all on the black Grand Prix, or on, I mean, the ones on the red Grand Prix were, but the ones off the black Grand Prix, when I blew that engine up, those were only on the car for 2 or 3 months. I've only seen 3,000 or 4,000 miles, if that. So those are probably still good. I'd probably get away with reusing those. So yeah, I'm gonna probably get this thing put back together sometime. But my main thing is I got the cam, I got the double roller, I got all the lifters except minus the one. I got the upgraded valve springs and retainers and locks. You know, I got my upgraded heads with the bigger valves. I got the other supercharger. Well, I'm reusing the same supercharger. So I don't know. It's a major setback with this cam. Yeah, major setback. I guess I'm gonna go have the cam, go drop it off and have it checked out and looked at, and just make sure that it's good, because I don't want to chance it. This thing is a pretty expensive piece of metal, so yeah. Yeah, I'm gonna go have this thing checked out, just because I don't want to have any issues with the new engine, especially if I'm taking it to the machine shop and having it machined. So yeah, that's where I'm at with that. So I will keep you guys updated. But I made a lot of progress today. The engine's out. It's all torn apart. I got all my aftermarket parts I needed out of it. I'm probably just going to get a brand new set of LS7 lifters and just replace all those. I'm going to reuse the push rods. I'm going to reuse the double roller. I'm going to reuse the cam if I can. Hopefully it's not too fucked off. This one looks pretty beat up, this whole load. It's got a nice chip in it. So, I don't know. I'm really not digging that at all, right there. Ugh. I'm upset. But I'm also happy that I made a lot of progress. So I guess that's going to be it for this video, because I'm tired, and honestly right now I'm just kind of upset with the cam. So I'll be back over here tomorrow, get some more stuff done, and I'll keep you guys updated then. So until next time, you guys have a good night. Like, comment, subscribe. Stay tuned for more content. Thanks for watching. Have a good night.